Hi everyone, welcome back. I'm Michael Sandler, your host on Inspire Nation. If you've ever wanted to feel better, more confident, and attract what you desire, then do we have the encouragement show for you. Today I'll be talking with Dr. Hank Seitz, mind scientist, performance business expert, the best-selling author of numerous books including Think and Feel Rich, and a phenomenal uplifter of a book, Encouragement. And that's just what I want to talk with him about today, about a path to feeling good through positive thought and how to attract what you desire. That, plus we'll talk about Mom and Edgar Caycee, trains from the universe, partying hard with the Uniboys, taking down the Korean Mafia, with the CIA of course, sub-basement elevators, chiming bells and Scrovegni Chappel, Steve Curry and Here Today, and what in the world Paula Deen's restaurant in Savanna, Georgia has to do with anything. So welcome to the show, Dr. Hank. Are you ready to shine?
I am shining my way right to you, Michael, and your wonderful, angelic audience. Can't wait for a fun time together.
Woohoo! And you know, I must say, I tend to wear bright clothing, as you may or may not have noticed, but you take the cake today, Dr. Hank.
Well, this is my regular thing that suit that I wear every day.
So for those who can't see this, who are not on YouTube, and you got to go on YouTube to see this, I can only politely describe this as the super tackiest coat ever that is absolutely the best fitting. It is like Christmas wrapping paper in a sport jacket.
It is. I'm having a Christmas party next Thursday, and so I went to one of the finest clothing stores in America, Target, and got this tacky looking suit, and then I got it tailored for more than what the suit cost. And then I realized, I just got it back today, and I thought, you know what? There's nothing that Michael Sandler and his audience would love to see than for me to be in my Christmas outfit.
I appreciate it very, very much. So if we dive back in time, if we go way, way, way on back on time, I'm wondering about your earliest fashion habits. And in your youngest years, were you a positive thinker growing up?
Well, I actually had a lot of challenges growing up, and in fact, I think most of us had. In my particular case, that I had a very abusive father, emotionally, physically. He was in World War II, got shot down over Germany, was a bomber, a flight bomber, and got shot down, and was in prison for about 14 months. And so he wanted to bring up his kids as the world is tough and to prepare us. So he was always tough, and you never knew when he came home. And so because of that, it was very challenging. And then I had two older brothers that actually tortured me because they really didn't like me being around when I came. So it was very challenging. So for me to have that contrast, and so there's this perfect contrast in the world of everything we want and everything we don't want. So by my upbringing being so challenging, it helped me to discover and to birth new ideas of what I wanted. So did I have positive thoughts all the time? I mainly was so immersed in just what was going on in my life. It was tough, and typically the bad things going on, the unwanted things going on, that I was unable to think positive things. However, there were glimpses of moments when I'd be like walking outside in nature where I just realized my essence. And so it was those few moments of my childhood, and we've all have experienced that, where we were able to touch and realize the magnificence of who we are, and those angelic times where we just feel so good. So it's those small little times, those few times, that actually elevated me to be able to become my greatest possibility and to align with my inner being.
Very good. And I'm thinking back to my childhood, which maybe wasn't that severe, but had lots of licks on the road. And those
Yeah.
licks were actually responsible for helping me to go, there has to be a way. You know, I was told at, what was it, 10, 11, you won't be walking by 18, this will be happening, that'll be happening, and had
Yeah.
to find a way for self agency. Now, in
Yeah.
your case, it sounds like you had an ace in the hole, or would it be an ace up your sleeve? Your mom started taking, was it classes or teachings with Edgar Cayce and
Yeah.
learning about I'm okay, you're okay? Maybe you can tell us about this.
Yes, yes. Well, that was really fascinating too. And by the way, all of this is in my book, The Happiest Man in the World. So just if people do, want to have that, it's on Amazon or whatever. And so my mother, when my father, who was very dominant, and my mother very beautiful, but she didn't couldn't stand up to my father. So when my father entered the environment, she basically distanced herself. But when he was gone, she started to get me into yoga, started getting me into books like I'm Okay, You're Okay, and spirituality. And so that helped to spark. And I realized as I would get into that, it gave me such relief from the world that I was experiencing in my life because of my father, my brothers, whatever. And I realized that, wow, I have somewhere within me some happiness that is beyond words, undescribable. And so for that, I thank my mother for being there. And because I had this contrast of what I didn't want, she actually helped me to have contrast of the things that I do want. And that helped me lead me down this spiritual path, which everything, by the way, is spiritual because everything comes from our thought. And we mold the energy that creates worlds with our thought. And then that thought we create, and it becomes the physical. And so it becomes the physical on the different things that we want to be, do, and have. So everything really is spiritual.
On that note, then, speaking of everything being spiritual, how did you think your way into the army, and what was that like?
Yeah, well, so some more tragedy happened in my life when I was 17 years old, and I was Mr. Popular in school, probably because of the way I dress. And just kidding. and and so at that time, and I had a little Camaro, a hot little Camaro. Well, I totaled the Camaro, was
Yeah.
thrown from the Camaro, in fact. And when I awoke, or when I realized what was going on, the car, I was actually lifting up the car so it wouldn't crush me. And I was just screaming to the top of my lungs to save me. Well, so that accident happened to where I'm limping literally up to graduation to accept my diploma. I barely got out of high school with a 1.8 grade point average because I mainly didn't go to school. I forged letters from that signed by forged my dad's signature. He actually had a stamp of the signature, and so it would get me in. They said I had a real bad illness, so I was never there, and I was always out playing and voting and doing all kinds of fun things. But as I'm graduating, I not only have physically in this condition, but also my girlfriend is pregnant. And so she flies to see her mother in Las Vegas. We kind of all decide she should have an abortion. And that put guilt on me beyond everything. And then my father was going to force me to go to a rich little boys' school. And I decided, no, I needed out. It was the Vietnam War. And I decided I wanted to go ahead and volunteer for my country, number one, but also because I needed some freedom. And we are here. One of the main, out of the three things that we're here for, one of the main things is freedom. And so I wanted more freedom. And that's how I ended up in the Army.
So, and from there, how did you end up then visiting yourself, the Edgar Cayce Association for Research and Enlightenment? We had Mitch Horowitz on talking about it a while ago, and maybe you can briefly tell us what it is as well.
Yeah, yeah. So on the Edgar Cayce, as far as I was stationed in I think it was in Virginia,
Yeah.
and Edgar Cayce. That because of my mother, I knew about Edgar Cayce, and I actually went and saw Edgar Cayce's place, and I was able to just feel that vibration, and so that took me to a place where I remember I was on a guard stand, and so it was very tall. It was in the middle of the woods, and I don't know what the heck I was guarding, guarding, quite frankly. And so I walked up, and it was a real tall guard stand that overlooked the woods. And I was up there, and I started giving a sermon. It almost was like the Sermon on the Mount. I was just so inspired, and it just took me to a whole new thing. And so I gave the sermon to the woods,
I
to
love it.
nature, out to Mother Nature. And I could feel the essence of who I really was at that time. And that really is what drove me to help me not commit suicide, because I did want to commit suicide over all these things that, had happened, and really helped me through it all for me to become my greatest possibility.
Was it a reconnecting? Yes, everything is spiritual, but we ebb and flow in our memory of our remembrance of things. Was this like a cosmic reminder of there's something greater going on?
Well, so in my teaching that, yes, we have past lives, and all of us have been here many times, but where it's really happening at is this moment right now. And so it's really not so much, it's almost, what I want to say is, I don't take too much interest or focus onto what my past lives were, or if that's what it kept me. What keeps all of us isn't anything from the past, it's in this present moment, and for us to connect fully with our inner being. And as we do that, we will then be on our lighted path and be able to skip along joyously in this life.
So how'd you go on your skipping along joyously to seminary school?
Yeah. So now this is after the army, after college, and so I wanted to understand what this God thing was. I was brought up Christian, and I just didn't understand the understanding of God. Some things just didn't make sense to me. And I'll give you an example. When I was a child, that I would sit in the front pew of the church, and I would hear the minister, and my parents would be wherever, someplace else behind me in the church. And I knew that I could tell and pick up the truth. So when the minister was saying something that was the truth, I was just this little boy, and going like this, yes, yes. But when I heard something that I knew was not the truth with a capital T, I'd be going like this. So it wasn't too long that my parents got me, and I had to sit in the back upper row
Ah,
so that nobody could see me and my emotions, and my thoughts about, because as a child, Christ said, "Come to me as a child," and as children. And why is that? Because, see, we really are innocent. We're closer to being birthed from our inner being, and we don't have all these beliefs and all this resistance and things that are there with us. So I wanted to understand this God thing, and I finally, by going to seminary school, it actually gave me the answer, but it certainly wasn't the answer that the Christian seminary school wanted me to have, because what my answer was is I realized that I am the creator of my experience, and I realized that the Father, Son, Holy Spirit, the Son being Christ is the physical experience that we have. The Father being our Father on our um, all that is, on infinite intelligence, and then the Spirit is our inner being. And so we're being led every moment of every day. And again, what I understood to be the truth at that time, then, and which is the truth, is that I am guided, and each one of us are guided by our feelings. And it is our feelings that, when we are feeling good, we're thinking about whatever the subject we are thinking about at the time. We're thinking about this with the truth, as God does, if you will, as the universe does. Whereas if we're feeling bad, it means we're not thinking about this as the universe is, that we're not on our path, and we're veering off of that. And so it's a very easy guidance system. It's as though that imagine this, it kind of happened this way. Before we came down here again, And we couldn't wait to get back down onto this beautiful world that we call Earth, Mother Earth, that because it has this perfect contrast of everything we want and everything we don't want. And for us to go through life then to determine, oh, these are the things that we don't want, that then burst the things that we do want. And so we're sitting up there, let's say with God, again, it kind of happened this way. And we said to God, so God, how, when I get back down to earth, how again are you going to guide me and how am I going to be guided? Is it going to be English? Is it going to be Spanish? And the universe responds and laughs and chuckles and says, oh, no, my child, that it's not going to be a language because languages are so ineffective in communication. So I'm going to do the perfect way to communicate with you every day, every moment. And I'm going to do that through your feelings. And so when you feel good, you'll know that you're on your path. You're being guided and supported and loved to all the things that I want and all the things that you want.
I'll see it and I believe it, and I'll believe it when I feel it.
Oh, yeah. And see, and that takes me to, so there, Napoleon Hill wrote the number one best-selling motivational book ever, and it was called Think and Grow Rich. And I got the original transcript on that, and I realized that there's about 38 times they took out, and they being the book publisher, took out the word vibration, because already the book was written in the 1930s, and it was just almost too much for people, and then to get into this feeling thing and vibration, they just said, forget it, we're taking all that out. And that's why I wrote this book, Think, Feel, and Grow Rich, because it's really all about our feelings. And so if there's one thing, and I would suggest that everybody just are channeling right now, that you actually write down. And if you'll just write down that the most important thing that you could ever do for yourself and anyone else is to feel good. And to get there is all you need to do is ask. Ask and you shall receive. And so ask, I want to feel good. And as you do that, you'll start getting new thoughts, and the universe will give you the thoughts and the feelings and the circumstances and the events that will help you become feeling better and better every moment of every day.
Woohoo!
Yeah.
So I'm reading your book this morning, and my wife Jessica, she's the producer. She's out of town, as I mentioned. She's down in the pyramids in Mexico, and now she's at a Dr. Joe Dispenza retreat down in Mexico. And there's a lot of stuff I'm doing to keep everything going right now. And I woke up this morning exhausted. Now, I didn't dwell on the exhaustion, but the exhaustion was there. But then I dove into your book, Encourage. And I checked in with myself just a little while later, and I said, Self? And Self said, we're ready to play. What was happening?
Yeah. So what was happening with you and your experience on that? That what we do is we get so lost into this what is, okay, what's going on right now, and are made up duties and responsibilities, because really when you look at everything, we just make it all up, and it's all made up, and all the rules and laws and everything is made up. Well, we make up our own rules, our own laws also, and so we think we have to do it this way, and then maybe Jessica says, hey, you need to make sure you do it that way. And so we have the influence of other people, and then but mainly what I call our committee. And so our committee is this small little voice within us, and that's chattering to us. It's the committee that when you wake up in the middle of the night, you can't get to sleep because you keep on thinking about something that's bothering you that you don't like. And so the committee I look at as, just imagine that there's this beautiful mahogany table, and there's these very nice leather executive chairs around this table, and this is all in our minds, and there are these characters that are in there, and so they're worry and fear, which is false evidence appearing real, worry, fear, doubt, complaining, blaming, shame and guilt. The Catholic religion was excellent at creating, really making that dig in deep to people's souls on shame and guilt. And so we have all those influences, and we're thinking about all those things. And like I help a lot of recovering Catholics, if you will, because of that upbringing and all that guilt and shame that they have. So we have this committee, and that committee, what was happening with you is you had these committee voices that, oh, I need to be doing all this stuff. And so what we just want to do is be able to just say, bye bye, just to leave that committee and ask for, so like in your situation, not so much on, really doesn't matter kind of where it came from. It's more on, hey, what do I want to be right now? And so, all those things and those influences that I talked about, from the committee members to other people's opinion, et cetera, they all had influence on you waking up, not feeling good, feeling exhausted. And what you did is you took a moment on like encouragement for Dr. Hank. And what that is every day you just read 1 or 2 pages, and it's about some subject, and it'll lift you up. It'll literally raise your vibration. That raises your point of attraction, where you're going to attract more of the things that you do want. So because you went from this low vibration of other people's opinion, your own committee's opinion, to going to a higher vibration and feeling better and realizing your strength and your magnificence and the fact that you could create anything, you could be, do, and have anything that you want, that put you on a higher level to where now you're in a state more of allowing yourselves to be at ease and to receive the guidance from source and to receive the thoughts from source that then put you onto a higher level, and then you were recovered.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. And that is a mighty woohoo!
Yeah.
What is Soul's Play?
Soul's Play. Yeah, it's very good. Very good. So, who we are. So let's take a look at you, Michael. Michael, you look like a handsome young man that, you're in this body and everything. And this is really like just a needlehead, just a small little needlehead of who really Michael is. Michael is this amazing energy that is so big, so vast, that it's really difficult for us to comprehend it with our smaller, concrete minds. And so, words that are probably more familiar to people is soul, and but I like using words like my higher self, my inner being, and see, and that, like, inner being is just so nice. It's just such a nice word that, and thought of, oh, my inner being, and our inner being is this magnificent essence, and we are part. We are just an extension of source energy, which is this inner being, which is our soul. And so our soul, when we came down here, that we all agreed that the reason why we're here in this physical essence and then can create matter, and I'll get into that, the 3 steps on how science has all agreed that there's 3 steps to creation, and so that we can literally create matter, matter. And so we're able to create this matter, and we came here in order to, and when I say we, my higher self, your higher self, all of our higher selves, inner being, and then our cells that birthed ourselves into this physical body with this amazing mind that is a great mind, just to be able to, our mind is really only there to decipher on and recognize, here's what we don't want, and then to ask for what do we want, and then we'll be given that from our higher being, our higher essence. And so as we're my soul's play is to, first of all, to have growth. And so if there's a mantra of God, the universe, it's more. And so here this mantra is, it's saying more to us, that we want to have more. And so all of us are doing this. All of us are doing we are all, because we're experiencing this life, we're in this body.
And we're all creators.
Yes, and we're all creators. And so again, we have this growth, and so we're creating this growth. Now, what some of us, actually most people, are saying to themselves, well, I want to kind of stop this growth. And I just would like, I don't want this contrast anymore. I don't want this stuff that I don't want anymore, that I want it all just the way that I want it. But see, it would be impossible for us to have that if we didn't have this contrast what we don't want. We wouldn't understand or ask for what we do want. And by that asking of what we do want, that takes us into this growth. So, number one, our soul, we mutually came down here saying, I want to grow and have more. And then, in addition to the growth that we wanted, that we also want to have more freedom. And so all of us are here to have more freedom. And that's why we didn't like our parents telling us, oh, we know what's best for you. Because, see, really, all our parents were doing and our teachers and whoever, that they were just telling us to do certain things so they would feel better. Because remember, we're all really, whether we're conscious of it or not, we just want to feel better. So, for example, our parents told us, hey, don't talk to strangers. Well, that's ludicrous. If we wouldn't talk to strangers, I wouldn't be talking to you right now, right? And that you wouldn't have Jessica, that we're all quote unquote strangers. And then what's so bad about the strangers? Like they give you candy. I mean, like that's cool. But it's this, what they didn't want is this 1%, and they were focused on, the bad things that would happen with the 1%, not the 99%. So they were focusing too much on what they don't want. So again, let's get back to, what is my soul's play? My soul's play is to have more growth, to have more freedom, and then the prize is to have more joy. And as we start realizing that we're here to enjoy it, we're here to enjoy the contrast, and instead of getting so bowed down and so focused on the stuff we don't want, so let's just say that I'm one of my niches, if you will, is in real estate. And so a real estate agent, that they have a deal go bad, but it could be a fight, it could be whatever. And what we have a tendency to do is during the rest of the day, think about it, and we Facebook about it, and we say we're sick or whatever it is. And what we're doing is whatever we focus our attention on grows. And so if I'm going to focus my attention on those things that I don't want, I'm just going to attract more similar cooperative components on stuff I don't want. So really, and so here's the secret. If you want to be happy, here it is right now, is that when something happens that you don't want, you simply look at it, point at it. Don't get a charge at it. Don't get an emotional charge, because you'll attract it just like that. Instead, you just say, that's what I don't want. And then you ask, what do I want? And then you will be answered. And your soul, your inner being, will start, an infinite intelligence, divine intelligence, will start giving you answers. And it's just one answer after the next. And then you'll be on your path, the joyous path that we all meant to have.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. So going on, what do I want? What powerful full words. Tell us about the 3 steps to creation, to creating what I do want.
You bet, you bet. So I'm going to give you first the scientists within the last 5 years have all agreed that creation is made in these 3 steps that I'm going to share with you. So this is neuron scientists, microbiologists, quantum physicists. They've all agreed that these are the 3 steps to creation, to anything. So whatever word you want to, what I want, or creating, or whatever it is. And so here's the 3 steps. The first step is our thought.
Mm-hmm.
So that's how powerful we are. We are the thinkers. We are the creators. And it all starts with our thought. The second step, according to the scientists, is that this thought then creates energy. And so the whole universe and all of us are all energy. Mm-hmm. And we're focused energy and our body energy. Like, this finger looks like a hard, solid finger, and there's more space in this finger than there is the matter. And and it's all moving, and it's all going fast, and there's millions of cells that are dying, and then millions of cells that are being reborn every minute. And so it's this incredible, way. So it's all energy. So again, our thought creates this energy, and then energy creates matter. And that's why thoughts become things. Now, a couple of points.
Yeah.
First of all, a lot of us think, well, maybe the scientists agree on it, but it doesn't work for me. I've been thinking about having more money, having, the right, loving relationship, person in the bed with me, that I've been wanting, better health or whatever. And, and most of us have just given up. And we're tired, we're exhausted, because what we've been doing is we've been swimming upstream, and we've been saying, oh, all my desires are upstream, and I'm going to work hard, because we've all been told to work hard, and I'm going to work hard, I'm going to do it because I've seen other people, when they worked hard, they made it, so that's what I'm going to do. And they get exhausted. All of us get exhausted. And so what, for every one of us to right now, is to just say, I'm going to stop doing this. It's not getting me to where I'm not on my joyous path. It's not getting me what I want. And so instead, I'm going to stop swimming. I'm going to turn around, and I'm going to go with the flow. And that flow is the flow of life. And when you are in that flow, all the things that you want will come to you. Because in essence, when most of us have been saying, for example, I want more money, we've really been emotionally saying, because it's just our emotions on what type of signal are you sending out to the universe. Well, we've been sending out, I don't have enough money. Mm-hmm. Even though our words were, I want more money, we were thinking, I don't have enough damn money, or I don't have that woman that I want, or the man, or the person, that I don't have that health. So we've been thinking about the contrast of what we don't want. Whereas saying easy things, so another thing to write down is to write down and say to yourself now, I love the idea of. So instead of begging for money, you don't have to beg anymore. I love the idea of more money coming to me. I love the idea of having harmonious and uplifting and loving relationships. I love the idea of becoming healthier. I know now that my cells are dying and new are being born, and I want those new ones to be healthy ones. Because any disease is exactly that. It's dis-ease. And by turning around, stopping the continual swimming up the stream, mm-hmm. and instead to just let go and allow, but you have to have trust. You have to have faith. And that's why people call me the Santa Claus of real estate, Santa Claus of life, because what Santa Claus is brings back belief, brings back faith on that things unseen will become seen. So it is, I'll believe it when I see it. We've been taught that. But really, it's when I see it. When I believe it, I'll see it, versus when I see it, then I'll believe it. That it's just the opposite, that we have to believe. So you have to have trust that you're going to be guided to all the things that each one of us want.
Woohoo! Speaking of trust and trust Christmas, tell us about Christmas choo-choo trains from the universe.
Well, I kind of like looking at them as bullet trains coming from the universe.
Even better, with zero gravity, zero resistance, hovering. I like it.
You bet. And so that's the beauty, is that we have the power. It's really like us asking Santa for what we wanted when we're sitting on Santa's lap. That Santa's lap is for all of us to just become quiet. And the quickest way to get on Santa's lap is through deep breathing. And so to get connected in essence with your inner being is through your breath. And so the word in seminary school, I learned that the word spirit in the Bible actually meant breath. And so as we take these deep breaths in, and it's about 5 seconds in and 5 seconds out, and all of you just go ahead and do that. Just breathe in and breathe out and say to yourself, relax. And that's the fastest way to connect with your inner being, with your soul. Sit on Santa's lap. And when you do, that then things will start coming to you, the things you want to be, do, and have, that because we are attractors of what we want. This is not a world of insertion where all of a sudden a terrorist comes and blows you up or bad people come, and there is no insertion. There is only attraction. And I am attracting to what my thoughts are. And so here's a great way, because again, people sometimes question this. They say, well, I don't think I'm that powerful because I've been asking. So let me give you another example of this. So let's say we wake up early in the morning and we do the joy shop. I have a joy shop. Love to offer it to your audience and you. That it's a great little way in order to wake up and start off the day. So let's say we're in our joy shop and breathing deeply and thinking about things we want and appreciating and then creating the way we want our day to be. So that's yellow, and we're asking for more money and harmonious relationships and deep and meaningful and loving relationships, better health, and just all these things, more business, more miracles coming. I want my angels to be out in front of me today, and I want them to just be, gathering up all my goodies, all the things that I want to bring to them. So that's yellow. But then we get out of that, and all of a sudden we read on our email that a client says no, or somebody says something ugly to us on Facebook or whatever. And so we start thinking about that, and we start saying, oh man, I don't like that, and that is just awful. And we're starting to get a charge, an emotional charge about this stuff that we don't want. And usually it's other people's opinion, which stop honoring the God, small g, the God of other people's opinion, and instead honor the God of your opinion, which is your opinion is when you're feeling good, you're there, and that's the only opinion that you should take, and you don't need to read any more books, you don't need to do anything. If you will just do this, that then you'll be on your path. But back to, so all these things I don't like, so I have yellow that I've been praying for initially, but then in our prayer, by the way, is our everyday thought. It's not us on our hands and knees with our hands folded, that it is our everyday thought. So I was thinking yellow on the things I want, but then some things came, some contrast came, and that's red. And so when you mix yellow and red, you get oranges. And so you say, I didn't ask for oranges. And the fact is that you did ask for oranges, because when you mix the yellow and the red, that you get oranges. And so that's why we think we aren't these amazing creators. And so what we all want to do is become more deliberate creators, and deliberately saying things like, hey, how do I want it to be? So I was just in Egypt, and people would say to me, oh my gosh, Egypt is so dangerous. And I just kind of don't comprehend that, because wherever I am is safe and fun and easy. Then I create my own experience. And so, in fact, if you want to look at the facts, if you will, which all facts are, is things that happened in the past, and they happened because of your thought. And so, in Egypt, there's been far less bombs or whatever than in the United States in the last 5 years, or whatever you want to do. But the fact is, it doesn't matter where I go in the world. I mean, I've been in Russia, and so I go all over the world, travel the world all the time, and that it doesn't matter where I go, that it's always safe, it's always fun, and there's always harmonious people, because I'm delivered and say that's what I want.
I love it. Let's take on a challenging topic for a moment here, which is there are so many people listening to the show who are really struggling, and so we're talking about orange and attracting with orange, with bringing those two together. But maybe we can go back specifically. I believe you had a very serious car accident. You've had several serious accidents, but in
Yeah.
2016, and the question becomes, when these accidents happen to us, does
Yeah.
it mean we did something wrong?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So there's such a misunderstanding of that everything is playing out perfectly. So let me give you an example on that particular accident. That, by the way, that accident totaled my car and totaled my body. It dented my forehead, and maybe you can see the little indentation there. It crushed my chest. It crushed my back, and I was paralyzed from my waist down. I'm a Vietnam veteran, and the VA proclaimed me permanently homebound and permanently disabled. Instead of believing all of that I decided to only focus on what I wanted, and that is to walk again. And so right now I'm standing. Okay. And in fact, I'll do a little little dance there
Very nice
that,
cha-cha there.
I'm moving. Yeah. And it's not in a wheelchair that the doctor said it would be. So I'm literally, people consider me a walking miracle. And it's because I started visualizing me walking. And then one day I felt a little energy in my right toe, and I just focused on that. I didn't focus about what wasn't working. My basically both my legs, that instead I just focused on what was playing out for me. I don't even like using the word work,
Yeah.
and because it's a low vibration word. And so what was playing out for me, and I focused on that energy, and one breath after one breath, and minute after minute, and it started to move up my leg and down and around, and voila, I was able to walk. Now, why did that accident happen? Well, in our ordinary concrete minds, that we really don't have the wisdom that our inner being does and we're not supposed to. It's not us, that the wisdom and all the perfect things are playing out just wonderfully for us, as long as we understand that and realize that. And so what I was able to figure out on that car accident is, I realized that I was doing, and if you just do, you end up getting do.
I've gotten my share of the doo-doo.
And so we've all walked that path, okay? And because been told, hey, got to do, and 99% of everything is our thought.
Mhm.
It's the 1% of inspired action that we want to do. So if somebody tells you, and that's why, a lot of coaches and, people, they're telling in books and everything, why they're telling you, here's what you need to do. That was their path. And most of them don't realize that 99% of it was because of their mental, of what they were thinking. And so, like athletes, you always hear them, oh, because I worked so hard on this. No. They first thought, hey, how am I going to be the best? And then what thing that I would enjoy, that I see from others, that I get from source energy, and what are those thoughts? And so then it came into many things, but the fact is that it was their mind that did it. So back to this, why did it happen to me? Well, because I was doing, that I wasn't on my path, and I kind of lost my way. I was one of those lost sheep, okay? And we've all been the lost sheep. And so, what this car accident does was such a blessing for me. And I knew it right away. Like when I was in a coma, whatever. And when I woke up, I realized, oh man, and I really didn't understand the impact when I initially woke up. But I just was like, oh, this is great. I mean, just great things are going to come out of this. And so, what it did is it slowed me down in this particular situation. It slowed me down to get back on my path. And then I started to ask for miracles. And I started to ask for some general miracles in my life. And then specifically for some miracles for my real estate agents, because I owned a real estate company with about 420 agents. And I wanted to create more wealth.
How do you, people have got to be asking, how did you ask for miracles?
Yeah. So when I first woke up, and I see my wife Sharon there, and I say to her, honey, that that this is for something really good, and some miracles are going to come my way. And so it's done unto you as you believe. And that was my belief. So I started like right out of the bunker there, and I was smiling. I actually have a picture of it and of me smiling, and I was smiling for two reasons. Number one, my good positive attitude. Number two, the morphine. and and so then I just started to ask, and I said, what type of miracle? What have I been asking for? Why do I need to slow down here? And then it started coming to me. And so it started coming specifically to help my real estate agents to increase their wealth and their abundance. And within 3 weeks, I had an answer. And that's the other thing that we need to do is when you ask, you shall receive. But it's in the perfect timing and in the perfect portions. And so it's not, hey, I want $1 million and then you win the lottery. Okay. Now it could be if your belief was that way, but usually those quantum leaps, it's pretty difficult because you have ingrained some, beliefs that prevent you from that. So it's just one step at a time. And it's just one thought. So, in my case, that I love that idea. I want to attract a new idea to help my real estate agents. And within 3 weeks, I got it. And it wouldn't matter if it would be in 3 years. See, it's all coming. And because I believe that and know that, then it's all coming. Now, if I think, it's not coming, and I say, it's kind of like, have you ever said, this is the worst day ever. It just can't get any worse.
Oh, duck, get under the desk as fast as you can.
Yeah. And then it does, and it gets even worse. And that's how powerful we are. It's because we were thinking about the things we don't want and then say, oh, it just can't get any worse. We're thinking worse. That's our vibration. And thus we attract even worse. And that's why the rich get richer in many ways. Not just money, but rich get richer, the poor get poor. Because, if you're going to think poor thoughts, that you're going to continue to get poorer and poorer. And so this idea about us just taking control and realizing, so asking for those miracles, is that you got to ask. And so there's not, it's not like this. The magic formula is for you to relax, to breathe deeply, and to start asking for the things that you want. That is your prayer. And as you do, it's one step after the next. And I'm going to give you an example of how this plays out in a very big way. There's 7 wonders of the world, and there's still one only existing. And that's those 3 pyramids right outside of Cairo, Egypt. And when I went there, that before seeing the big pyramids, we went to what they call the Sept pyramids. Now, these were much older than the big pyramids that all of us are familiar with. And they basically were these small little pyramids. So they were just as mankind was just as intelligent and as brilliant as we are now. We all think, oh, we're so special because of technology. Hell, they had us. We still can't figure out how they cut these 2,000-pound and even greater stones out of the mountain, transported them miles, and then built these things we call the pyramid in perfect portions, lined up perfectly to the stars. You'd need to be a genius master mathematician, etc., to know all this. And they knew all of it 5,000 years ago. But the cool thing was that what I really was more impressed with is the Sept pyramids. Yeah. Because, see, what they did is they had a thought on, hey, on the pharaoh, we want to give them a burial place and to have everlasting life. All the temples and the tombs and the pyramids are all to have everlasting life. And we all, by the way, have everlasting life. So you don't have to worry about it. That's why it's no big deal. If I would have died in a car accident, it's no big deal. So, hey, I come back because none of us wanted or expected to live here forever. That's not the plan. That we live this life, just amazing life. And if you just when we transition from the physical back to the non-physical, that we're going to realize just what a sweet life this was. Because what you're going to do is you're going to see all the wanted, all the things, all the expansion, all the freedom, all the joy that you did have because of the contrast of what you didn't have. And so they did these step pyramids, and literally they were ugly looking things. They weren't very big. They weren't geometrically, right. But see, they needed to build that first in order to be able to know and understand what they wanted even more. And then came the big, magnificent three pyramids. And by the way, they were with beautiful sandstone on the outside, so they were just glistening in the sun. You're seeing all the covering of every one of those pyramids was taken off and robbed. They basically, robbed everything. In fact, they robbed every tomb. The only tomb that wasn't robbed and discovered was King Tut's. And that's why King Tut is so famous, because of everything in that tomb.
Thank you, thank you. We begin to get to start wrapping things up, but I want to bring it back to finances and money here. How
Sure.
do we start? Because it's really easy, if we're not careful, to actually crank up the lack in our
Yeah.
lives. How do we begin to change our relationship with money?
Yes, yes. And let me give you an example. So this is how I do it, and it doesn't have to be the specific things, but it's the strategy, if you will, behind it. So today, I'm walking into the grocery store, and I look down, and there's a penny, and this penny is ugly and old, and just in terrible condition, and nobody's picking it up, but I am. And I reach down, I pick up that penny. I admire that penny. I just love having that penny and put that in my pocket. And it's in my pocket right now. So I just love that penny because, we keep on trying to stretch and do these quantum leaps to, I want $1 million. No, just appreciate. So let's do a couple of steps that, first of all, appreciate what you have. That most of you out there, no matter what income you have, is in at least the top 10% ever in the history of the world. And so, I mean, we have it so made. It's just unbelievable. We have electric and a roof over our head and cars and planes and telephones and cell phones. We have a whole library in our cell phone. I mean, we have so much, but we look at somebody else. And so now we're focusing on our lack, looking at somebody else with more, saying, oh, I wish I were there. Them. And if you get rid of that and instead appreciate what you have, appreciate the penny you just found, appreciate maybe a scratch off lottery where I love playing with it, and because I play with it, that I always win money. And like Sharon just can't believe, I go in this little gas station and I get in. So it's maybe once, twice a week. And I have this little lady with no teeth in the back of the counter. And I always tell her, okay, you're getting 10%. And so last year I won $2,000, gave her $200. And I mean, she just was, beyond herself. But so today I went to scratch off. I paid $10 for scratch off. It had EXP on it. It was Explode, and EXP Realty is a real estate company that I discovered and became part of, that is so helpful to other agents and brokers. And so I scratch it off and I get $20. So I doubled my money. But most people would be going, oh, it was, I think, $1 million, the most you could buy. Most people would be disappointed. Oh, geez, I didn't get the $1 million. Just be happy in the little things, the one step. And so think about the step pyramid and be happy with that step pyramid, because know that those big pyramids are coming your way.
Woohoo! Do you recall? You don't have to have this memorized. I can walk you through it, but you have 5 steps to feel better now, right now.
Yeah. And so here's the 5 steps. So remember, I shared with you that the scientists said that there were 3 steps to creation. Well, there actually are 5, and they just left out the universe, minor little thing and all this, God, whatever you want to do. So here's there's 5 steps, and we only need to have 2 in order to have that happiness and to feel good right now. So the first step, and it's similar to the way the scientists, first step is your thought.
Yep.
So it's your all-powerful thought. And so a good way to be doing that is just be thinking about what I want. And so just be focused on what you do want and like and enjoy, and that pleases you. And then the other stuff, to say, hey, that's what I don't want. And then ask what I do want. And that'll get your thought on the right track. Your thought then is step 2, is it creates a signal, it creates this energy, and the signal is sent out to the universe. And so, again, universe, God, whatever term you want to use, that's sent out, that signal, that's step two. Step three is that signal is instantly received and instantly responded to by your source, by the universe, by God. And so step three, which means all your prayers are answered.
Yeah.
The challenge for us is you ask, where's my stuff? Because if I asked and God responded and had it, well, where it is, it's in energy form. And you just need to step four. And so the two steps you're responsible for is step one on your thought, and then step four, which I call Abe. So think Abe Lincoln or whatever. Abe. And A is to allow it, to believe it,
Yeah.
to expect it. So Abe it, allow it. I believe it's coming. It's back to this faith in Santa Claus that, allow, believe, and expect it. And when you do, step five is next thing you know, it'll be sitting in your lap.
Woohoo! You know what I'm looking at out the window is a herd of deer has shown up right now. It is so
awesome.
cool. I think they're liking the energy of this talk. All right.
Yeah.
So we've got these 5 steps. We've got 3 steps. I want people to at least take 1 step today. So if people, Dr. Hank, if I take off my coaching hat, put it on you, what 1 step or 1 homework assignment would you give people to take action today?
Well, so I'll give a couple of options. The first one is that, and the easiest one, it's easy, is I want you to be the primary focus for you is to feel good. And if you'll just do that, and that's good feeling thoughts. I actually have a book called Good Feeling Thoughts, where every day you can have 7, and 7 is spiritual numbers, 7 good feeling thoughts. So to feel good. A real practical one, though, that'll keep you going on this is to get the Joy Shop from me. And the Joy Shop is very easy. Every morning, take 10, 15 minutes, wake up early, whatever. You'll read a couple of pages of good feeling thoughts. It'll raise your vibration, and you'll write down 3 things: what you want, what you appreciate, and then you'll pre-pave your day. In other words, you'll start calling forth how you want your day. And when you do so, yet stay general. Don't get specific on, this person is going to say yes or whatever. But it's more general, like we're going to have a great time together. I'm going to have a safe travels and smooth travels today. And as you stay general, then let the universe fill in all the details for you.
Beautiful. And where can people go to find the Joy Shop?
Yeah, so if you will email me, and it's very easy email, drhank at drhank.biz. So Dr. Hank at drhank.biz. If you're looking for a new career, or if you're a real estate agent or real estate broker, I would recommend that you go to Doc Hank Webinar, DOC Hank Webinar.com, and there you can register to see a short webinar that will tell you about the Amazon of real estate, eXp Realty, and how you can enjoy more wealth, more abundance, more service than any other business model I've ever seen.
Fantastic. And you had mentioned that you were going to give several. Was there a third thing? Not to be greedy here, but you gave the Joy Shop, and I'm going, was there one more coming?
Well, let's go ahead and give out one more. And 3 is a good one, too. Father, Son, Holy Spirit, mind, body, spirit. So 3 is great. And so the third one is I just published my 12th book, and it's called M Squared, which is for more money, and the 13 steps to more money. But it's not only more money, it's also more joy. And so it really lays out my teaching and helps in a very easy way that I don't tell you what you want. I just show you an easy path, a path of least resistance going downstream. And downstream is where all of your desires are. So if you'll just email me, ask me for the free soft copy of the book, I'll be happy to give that book away as well.
Fantastic. On that note, what personally brings you, Dr. Hank? What brings you the greatest happiness, or what I call the woohoo factor?
Yeah, for me, my greatest happiness is to be aligned with my inner being. And when I'm aligned with my inner being, then all things that I see, magical things. And give you an example that I took a picture the other day when I got back from Egypt. The sun was just rising, and from our condo on the 15th floor, I took a picture of the woods, and it was like just the perfect fall colors coming out, and the sun was just glistening on it. And I took a picture of it, and I got responses back and shared it on Facebook. And got responses back from people saying, where do you get this picture from? And see, it's that I'm attracted to this beautiful thing because I asked to feel as my inner being feels. I asked to think as my inner being thinks. I asked to sense, which means I want to see as my inner being sees. I want to hear it, smell it, taste it, and feel it in every area of my body. And as I do, that I'm in a state of bliss. And that's where we can be in heaven right here on earth.
Woohoo!
La da 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 da.
Any last words of wisdom you want to share with us before we go into a brief meditation?
I just want to share with everybody that know that you're a magnificent creator and that it's never too late. Now's the time, just one step after the next step, one small step, easy step after the next, one small, easy thought after the next. And I guarantee you, all of your dreams will come true.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. That is a mighty woohoo! Would you have time for a very brief meditation?
Okay, so why don't we all, when you close your eyes, it's just a little bit easier to go within.
Unless
Close
you're
your
driving
eyes.
down the road, do this later then.
Yeah, right. Thank you. And yeah, so this, you shouldn't be operating heavy machinery either. And so I'd like you all to just close your eyes, to breathe in deeply, and breathe out. And say to yourself, relax. Breathe in and breathe out. And say, relax. And as I share these words, let them filter into your heart, into your mind, into every cell, the trillions of cells within your body. Be soaked in this love, in this kindness, this gentleness. You are a magnificent and brilliant creator. You are made in the image and likeness of all that is. You came from source energy. You're an extension of source energy. And you, above all the animals, that each of us have the power through our thought, with our thought, to be able to mold the energy that creates worlds into things that we desire. You are worthy. You are deserving. You deserve it all the things that you want. Your old story about how your life was is now vanished. Create this new story about your new life. Know that this is going to be the most glorious holiday season you've ever had. Expect miracles to come flowing to you. Expect goodness and wonderful, harmonious, and uplifting people to come to you. Expect more of the things that you want to flow to you easily and incredibly. Expect more money to come to you in expected and unexpected ways. Know that 2019 is going to be the best year that you have ever had. It's going to be incredible with such good health, with more opportunities, with more money, with things just falling into your lap that you want. You have stopped swimming upstream now. And now I want you to just gently row, row, row your boat gently down the stream. Merrily, 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 life is but a dream. And know that your dreams are coming true. And so it is. Amen.
Woohoo. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I realize I may have missed the most important question today.
Yeah.
That Jessica would not demand, but would really love if I ask. What advice would you give to parents for their kids today?
It's a tremendous, tremendous question that there's so much confusion, and confusion means we're not aligned. And so let me help you all to understand that your children have been built, created, come here on a higher platform, a different platform than you have been. Your children know better than you do. Allow your children. Do not ever anymore think you have to guard them. Because, see, if you think, like, if you worry about them, you just bring them worry. And so you don't want to do that. Pray for their well being, pray for their happiness, pray for their success. I pray that every day for the world, for my children, and then my grandchildren. And so they are magnificent, deliberate creators also. And just like you as a child didn't like to be told what to do, just as you, like a child, wanted to have more freedom, as you give your children more freedom and allow them to be who they are, their path is there waiting for them. And the only thing and the major thing in their way from their happiness is by us parents thinking we know what's best for them and telling them what to do. Allow them to do, and you'll see that they will not only be fine, but they will spread their wings because you allowed them. And as for all of us, to allow yourself to have it all, to allow your children to be who they are, and to allow all people to allow them to be who they are. And as you allow yourself to be who you are, you're going to raise your vibration, and everybody around you, including your children, will raise their vibration, and everybody, the world, will be a better place.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. I am so glad I asked. Woohoo! This has been phenomenal, Dr. Hank. The amount of glow coming out of this interview is only equaled by your jacket.
And that's why all the animals are coming out, and that all of us have more open hearts now, open minds now. And no, it's all just coming to you. Expect it, believe it, allow it to come.
Beautiful. So thank you so much. Got to crank it back up for the finish here. For everyone out there, this is Michael Sandler saying, be well, have fun, get encouraged, and M squared too, and begin cranking up your positive thoughts today and shine bright. Woohoo! Woohoo!
Shine bright, everybody.
Thank you so, so much, Dr. Hank.
Thank you, Michael. You're amazing.
It goes both ways. It absolutely goes both ways.
Bless you all. Happy holidays.
Thanks so much for watching. If you enjoyed it, be sure to like below. Also, leave your comments. Have some real fun with it. Subscribe to our channel where you're going to get more great videos, more interviews coming up. And check out our website, inspirenationshow.com. That's where you'll find tips, blogs, information, videos you won't find anywhere else, and useful and helpful resources to really help you kickstart your life and to shine bright. Thanks so much again. Thank you for your support. Like, comment, subscribe. See the website. Thanks so much and have fun. Of course, shine bright. Woohoo!